And America went crazy. And my parents were subjected to the most horrific experience. They could be walking down the sidewalk and cars would come up and yell at them and accuse them of being spies and saboteurs and that ugly racial epithet for Japanese Americans. As a matter of fact, my father's car was graffitied with three letters in red paint, J-A-P, that word of hate. And Brad, can you get me some water? I just had lunch and my throat's not as clear as I would like it to be. You mentioned Hart Mountain. Our family was not incarcerated there. Hart Mountain was a barbed wire prison camp in Hart Mountain, Wyoming. There were 10 camps altogether. All 10 of them were in the most desolate, God-forsaken part of the United States. There were 2 in the swamps of Arkansas. We were in the camp called Camp Road. There was 1 camp in Wyoming called Hart Mountain. There were, thank you. There were 2 in...
George, hold the microphone closer to your mouth.
Hart Mountain was in Wyoming, and there were 2, can you imagine, on the blistering hot desert of Arizona. I mean, all dry, dusty, dust covering your whole body. You can't go out of your barrack and hope to come back without dust all over you. There were 2 in Arizona. There were camps in Idaho, Wyoming, Colorado, and 2 in California. Before we went to the camps, and I remember that morning when soldiers with bayonets on their rifles marched up our driveway, stomped up our front porch, and banged on the door. And my father answered it, and one of the 2 pointed his bayonet at my father. My brother Henry and I were frozen. I was 5 years old, Henry was 4, and we had a baby sister, an infant in her cradle. And one of the soldiers said, "Get out of this house." And my father said, 10 more minutes, please. My wife is packing. And he gave him 10 minutes. He went back to help our mother. And then he came out with little boxes about that size, tied with twine. And he gave one to me and one to Henry. He said, "We're to carry them." And then he went back and came out and carried 2 heavy suitcases. And then the soldier said, "Come out and stand in the driveway." So we followed my father down the porch and stood there waiting for her mother. And when she emerged, escorted by the other soldier, she had our baby sister in one arm and a heavy duffel bag in the other, and tears were streaming down her cheeks. The terror of that morning is seared onto my brains. I'll never be able to forget that. We were taken from our homes to Santa Anita racetrack, to the stable area. We were taken in a bus caravan, and there we were unloaded, herded over to the stable area. And each family was assigned a horse stall to sleep in. My mother kept mumbling, "So degrading, so into the air. The stench of horse manure was overpowering, and insects were skittering around on the ground, and flies were buzzing in the air. And our baby sister promptly got sick, and about 3 days later, I got sick too. That was our introduction to imprisonment in America. We were there in the horse stables for about 4 months, and then we were told we were going to move again. And they didn't tell us where we were going, but I asked my father, "Daddy, where are we going?" And he stopped to think a little bit, and then he said, "We're going on a long vacation to the country." And Henry and I got excited. A vacation in the country. And we're going to get our first train ride going there. That train ride turned out to be a journey of 3 days and 2 nights. 3 days and 2 nights. Through the southwestern desert and on to the farthest east